listen to episode 3.
It is episode 3.
Is it really? I was going to say 2.
No, remember 2, we skipped a week in between because of my family issues, and then it was all on February 2nd.
Yeah,
there were a lot of 2s involved.
Yeah,
you were burping a lot. It was,
You were burping a lot.
I was not burping at all.
We are back. This is the Ball Card Show, the sports podcast.
For the Sports Collector.
Part of the Press Play Podcast Network. We've said it once. We've said it a few times. But if you haven't checked it out yet, go to the Press Play Podcast Network. Incredible content. Lots of sports, especially for those of you in Ohio. A lot going on. Big week for the state of Ohio.
It is. I mean, all you Cleveland Brown fans can go suck it, but all of us Bengals fans, long suffering, we're excited.
I got to tell you what I'm looking at right now. I have roasted this man's outfit every day that we've recorded, but today I have nothing negative to say.
No, sir.
Because there is joy in his heart.
There is deep, deep, deep joy.
Yo tengo gozo, 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 gozo en mi corazón.
Nope.
¿Dónde?
Stop.
En mi corazón.
This is not
¿Dónde?
Dora the Explorer. Stop.
No, that was like I have the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. And you have joy down in your heart.
I do.
Because?
Well, the Bengals are going to the Super Bowl,
They're
baby.
going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, my wife surprised me today. Jason wanted to roast my outfit, and then I showed up normal because my wife dressed me today. She walked into my office.
Literally laid him on the bed.
Yep, just picked my legs up, wiped my bum, put my stuff on. Yeah.
Just what you call an average Friday.
No, so I'm in my office. I had gone and gotten my wife's oil changed for her today. No, I didn't do it myself. I'm not an animal. 2, I went and got a haircut, also because I'm not an animal.
Let me see it. I didn't even see. Oh, flock of seagulls up
Yeah,
top.
baby. Yeah, baby.
A flock of seagulls.
So I do that stuff, and I come home, and I'm just sitting in my office. I'm chilling. I actually caught a little bit of a restock at Meijer today, so I was opening a few cello packs of Mosaic basketball, just kind of chilling. My wife goes, "Oh, this package came. Thank God. I didn't think it was going to come in time." And I'm like, "What? What is going on?" And she walks in my office, hands me first a Bengals Super Bowl T-shirt. It's super simple and clean because I'm not into like big, like flashy sports stuff. I think it looks kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
Just the Bengals logo, Super Bowl 56.
Yeah.
And then hands me a Bengals Super Bowl 56 hat.
The hat is sick. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, no, I like it a lot.
That's good.
So I'm just rocking my Bengals gear. I might not take this
Good.
stuff off until Sunday night.
I had a couple little presents. Not as cool as the shirts.
Yeah,
but
no, he did, and they were Bengals presents. Actually, one of them is unbelievably cool. So Upper Deck obviously doesn't make anything other than hockey cards anymore, but back in the day, they made some really cool football cards. Well, Chad Johnson, who at this point is still the best receiver in Bengals history, and one of my all-time favorite players, I walked down, sitting right next to my microphone, was a Chad Johnson autofocus acetate card from 2007 Upper Deck, numbered to 33 autograph card. It's beautiful, sick card. I'm probably going to send it off, get it graded. I don't care what it grades. It'll just display better that way because it'll never leave my collection. And a little Chad Johnson Fleer. Just a relic card. Still a very, very cool card. So I was very happy to see those sitting here. A little Bengals mojo.
It's gotta be good luck.
Yeah, the little Bengals mojo going
Just
into
wanted
the
to have
weekend.
a little something, something.
Absolutely.
You know.
Absolutely.
A little good luck. A little good vibes.
Well,
you know
we'll
what?
take it.
I'm a Bengals fan this weekend.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you
Who
that.
isn't? Is there anybody other than like
The city of Detroit. The city of Detroit is
Yeah.
is pulling for the Rams, and I get it.
Yeah, I don't even
Which
think
I think
people,
is cool.
I don't
I
even
think
think
it's
people in LA are pulling for the Rams because they've only been there for 2 years. And
The city
it
of
doesn't
LA
matter.
is like the Lakers aren't good. That's what they're saying
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
Which I just found out. The week that I'm in LA is the Clippers Lakers, so I'm gonna try to get some nosebleeds there.
Oh, yeah.
Some nosebleeds. I just have to take out a small cash advance.
Listen, I was
Staples Center does not play
jokingly,
around.
I was jokingly talking to my wife about going to the Super Bowl. And I was a little salty because Athens head coach, who was their quarterback's coach when Burrow was there, I know him. We're not friends, but I know him, coaching circles. And Joe just called him last week and was like, hey, I got a couple tickets to the game if you want to come out. I was so jealous.
Oh, yeah.
I was so jealous. I was looking up tickets, and I told my wife, I was like, yeah, I really would like to go. And she was like, well, and if you don't, you guys don't know my wife. Some of you do, and if you do, you understand
She
this
would
about
totally
her.
say, if you want to go.
Well, she did. She was like,
I'll work 3 more years
She was like,
before
I'll try to make it happen if we can. And then we started looking at ticket prices, and she was like, I love you, but I'm not going to make this happen.
So, just to set the record straight, my teams have always been terrible. We went over this with the Dolphins, but all of my teams except for Collegiate are bad. And I told my wife, World Series or Super Bowl, I will put our family in debt.
Well, this would have been probably about $20,000 in debt.
20?
Well, tickets were about $7,000 a piece, and then you need hotel rooms and everything
I would have
else.
guessed closer to 10.
Yeah, no, tickets are like almost $8,000
Well,
a piece.
if we
$7,000,
have to dip
$75,000.
into our boxes and sell
Yeah.
them,
Well, I mean, if somebody wants to come up with a offer for, let's say, we were talking about this before the podcast. We're talking about just how much stuff we each have and looking at a few things of Jason's, and I'm looking at his collection. He's got a nice little collection, and it's about 10% of the size
well, yeah,
of what
but
I've got.
You got to look. Yeah, we haven't gone through this other stuff, but yes.
I don't count the boxes of junk era commons.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah, which is fine. But if somebody wants to make an offer, I've got 25 2-row boxes and 10 4-row boxes that are literally
that's not what this
nothing
is
but
for. That's not what this is
numbered, colored rookies. Each one of those boxes is worth anywhere
Let me
from
tell
$2,000
you
to
right
$8,000.
now, you will overpay if you buy from him.
I will let you
All right,
randomly
so
make an
before
offer.
we go any further, it's customary now.
Get me to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, Super Bowl. So we're gonna do another butter cake
Oh,
shot.
I don't want to play this game.
I don't know who owns Smith Creek Moonshine, but you owe us because
Is this going to keep going until that jar is gone?
I think so. And I don't want to do this shot either. Do you want to go first or second?
No, I don't want to do it at all.
Well, you got to.
I'll go first. Give me the.
Oh, I wanted to go first.
No. I don't want to play this game.
It's a Yankee candle. It's a Yankee candle. It's a
I'm going to
Yankee
hold my nose
candle.
so I can't smell it.
That's how I used to eat peas. Oh, sizable shot.
Oh, it's so bad.
I don't know if it's that bad. Let's see.
The people at Smith's Creek are evil. They are not good people at all. Why would you put that in a jar and sell it to people?
It doesn't taste good.
What could you even mix that with?
Let's see.
Hot garbage?
Yeah, the problem is it tastes bad and it's not even really strong.
Oh, ooh.
Okay, well, for
It's
the
on
next,
the back of my throat.
we just have 17 more episodes before
Gotta
that's
drink a
gone.
cider.
All right, so we're in it now. Super Bowl week. Joe Shiesty, Joe Burrow, Joe blown out knee 1 year ago. It has ice in his veins, and he's taken Cincinnati, the Queen City, to the ship. You know what? They don't have an indoor practice facility.
No, because our owner's trash.
Well, he's trash, but you know what's going to happen now? They're going to win, and he's going to be like, see, guys, it was all part of the plan.
And everybody's going to laugh at him. Listen, I'm a Bengals fan and have been. The only thing I can tell you about Mike Brown is this. The reason that the Bengals are good right now has nothing whatsoever to do with Mike Brown. Like, that man, I don't even have words. Like,
He's taking your team to the ship.
no, Joe Burrow is taking our
Hey,
team
you
to
got
the
to
ship.
give him some.
He what?
He was involved in the draft.
Not very much.
What if
And Joe Burrow was
what
such
if you
a
find out
no-brainer.
that Brown was like, I want that Burrow kid, and I don't care what it takes.
Well, they had the number 1 pick, so it didn't matter. They could get whoever
Well,
they
Miami
wanted.
paid to get that spot.
Paid to get what spot?
Number 1 pick.
Oh, yeah, they paid your old coach. Well, they tried to, and he had too much integrity to
Hugh
play that
Jackson's
game.
like, I'm
Listen,
so rich.
have you ever seen have you ever seen a coach?
Hugh
that-
Jackson is one of the Winklevoss twins right
Oh,
now.
well, have you ever seen somebody who had an entire career in the NFL?
No, he
And-
didn't have a career.
Well, he did for years
I don't know
and
what
years
to
and
call
years.
that.
Well, he coached in the NFL for 20 years.
I know.
But have you ever seen somebody who has just taken, and yes, losing in Cleveland hurt his reputation as a coach, but in coaching circles, he was still somewhat respected as a coach.
yeah.
And in a 2.5-year window, he's unhireable in the
here's-
NFL ever again.
Right. It's super strange, but I will say this. He put his life on the line when he voluntarily walked into Lake Erie.
Well, of course. Yeah,
It's
that was
still polluted with balloons from 25 years ago.
Those aren't balloons.
Google.
those aren't balloons.
Leave that alone. All right. Super Bowl weekend. Super excited. You know, the only disappointment I have is I work on Sunday. So I just hope nobody needs anything fixed. I should be home. Knowing my luck, I'll get some nerd that calls in at 6 and wants a full rebuild, and it's worth a lot of money. But hopefully not. And can we talk about the halftime show? I don't think you'll like it that much. Have you even looked at it?
It's Snoop Dogg. I'm excited.
Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Kendrick Lamar, Mary J. Blige. Did I forget somebody?
That's actually going to be solid.
It's going to be great.
I think your wife is probably as geeked as a human being can be for a halftime show.
I'm just already over here just thinking about Super Bowl. Like, nowadays, everybody want to talk. They got something to say, but nothing comes out when they move to Liz. It's much gibberish.
Nope.
No?
Mm-mm. Do you remember our conversation about Roy Rogers earlier?
I'm kind of like Feminem.
No. Kind of like Fat and them. Like Chunky White. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of.
That's a
Snoop
solid
Hogg.
That wins. That wins. You win. Cool.
Snoop Hogg.
Yeah.
All right. I think we blew out that microphone. But Super Bowl is coming up. Here's the thing, hobby related. If you don't have your Burrow cards and you haven't gone looking for them, pull them up and feel good about yourself because you knew all along that knee injury was not going to drag him down. How many Burrow rookies would you guess that you have right now?
120?
Ooh, that's strangely specific.
Maybe a little bit more. I've sold a few this week. Some of the lower end stuff. I sold a few lots.
Did you sell that lot?
Some Chronicle stuff.
The lot that had the yellow press proof?
No, I ended up selling that stuff all separately.
Oh, shoot. I was going to say, let's work out a trade on that.
Well, the press proof is still available. The yellow one is.
Let's work out a trade on that.
We can talk about it. But I've got a lot of Joe Burrow.
Let's back up.
Yeah. You want
We can talk about it?
Well, nobody wants to hear us negotiate that.
You don't think I have anything?
No, you have lots of stuff.
That Luke Kuechly is still slabbed up.
Yeah, I would not trade that Joe Burrow for the Luke Kuechly.
Well, it's a start.
It might be a start.
Oh, see, you're so greedy. All right, I want to jump into something in the hobby. We by the way, here in just a few minutes. That was a good one. Here in just a few minutes, we're going to do a live reveal. G has a sealed FedEx box full of FCG slabs. And the cool thing about FCG, we'll get into a little bit more, is you're going to find out why you didn't gym mint everything if you didn't. You're going to find out where the grades came from. You get an explanation. Really cool product, really cool grading company coming up in just a few minutes. And we're going to have a video of him doing that live that we'll post to our group and our page. But let's jump in. eBay is trying to correct the problem. Now, I'm going to say it, just be honest up front. This week, I thought that my store was still in vacation mode because I got so fed up with the shenanigans with buyers on eBay. And the way they're not only able to take advantage of you, but also leave a bad review and begin to tank your what's it called? Score?
Your
review
your score. Yeah.
So I have I think 750 sales, somewhere around that. And in the last month, I had a few weird things happen where I thought the store was in vacation mode, which it was, but some transactions went through. And as soon as I saw it, I sent the stuff off, but I had 3 or 4 bad reviews took place, and I thought the store wasn't even open. And my average, after 750 sales of being around the high 98, 99, 100%, dropped to 89%.
You lost your power seller status.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I shipped off the stuff. I apologized to the recent buyer. It was a small Max Scherzer numbered card. It's worth $5 or $10, right?
Yeah.
And I got rid of all of my listings. They're gone. And I'm going to try to figure out what I want to do next. But eBay is trying to help address the issue that people like me and many others are dealing with this verification process. Why don't you walk us through what's happening on eBay if people don't know?
Yeah, so there's been a little bit of an evolution in eBay's process over the last 6 to 8 months. It started with them recognizing after years that they had a real problem with scammers that were buyers. And are there scammer sellers? Of course there are.
Yeah.
But for the most part, the scams that occur on eBay are buyer scams, and the people who do it wouldn't even consider themselves scammers, but anybody else would. What would happen is, even if your listings stated no returns accepted, eBay doesn't care. They're going to side with the buyer almost 99.999 times out of 100. So somebody would buy a card, and if that card lost value 30 days later, they would initiate a return. And if you didn't accept the return, they would damage the card and then claim it was damaged and send it back. And you'd be out the money and your card is now damaged. Sometimes they would get their money back and just send you a random other card. And all that eBay cared about is that something was delivered back to your house.
Yeah, tracking number.
So eBay finally recognized that, and they put a process in place with sports cards where buyers only had 3 days to initiate a refund from buyer's remorse status. Now, they can still try to do like not as described, things like that, but that initiates an eBay investigation, and you have at least a little bit of recourse as a seller. Now they've rolled out what I think is an awesome solution. A lot of people are complaining about it, but I think it's going to be fantastic for everyone for lots of reasons. They've contracted with CSG. If you aren't familiar with CSG, they are owned by CCG, which is Certified Collectibles Group.
Massive buyout in the last year.
Yeah, we've talked about it quite a bit.
Rick Rubin.
Yeah, we've talked about Rick Rubin. We've talked about CSG quite a bit on the podcast and what I think the long-term play for them is. And this is just another brick in that wall. eBay is contracted with CSG. So anytime a sports card that has a final sale value of over $75, and it's not graded, it's a raw card. Instead of the seller shipping that card to the buyer, they will be shipping that card to CSG. CSG will then authenticate the card, put it in, I don't know whether they're putting it in a top loader or a grading sleeve. My guess is a grading sleeve. Mm-hmm. And then sealing it, much like BGS or some of these other companies that do raw card reviews do. And then just sealing it as authentic. And then they fulfill the order the rest of the way and send it to the buyer. Now, what that does is for sellers, it eliminates returns for item not as described. It eliminates returns for this was fake. And it eliminates the ability for the buyer to deface their purchase and then claim that it was damaged because it is sealed by CSG. Mm-hmm. They would have to break that seal to do that. And the minute that they break that seal, they're going to lose their claim.
I'm not going to lie. I'm looking at one of the packaging photos, just Googling it.
Yeah.
Looks pretty nice. So this one has a top loader. I thought that they were closer to the one-touch type of look, but it just looks like a top loader with a team bag on it. But the little box that they put it in and everything's pretty nice too.
Yeah.
Nice presentation.
So it's going to protect buyers, it's going to protect sellers, and it's going to also eliminate the ability for people to try to sell higher end fakes because they're going to get their accounts shut down if it happens more than once or twice.
Yeah, and so when he's talking about sealed product, it's the equivalent of this. So if I sell a PSA 9 men's shoe Prism,
that won't go to CSG. It'll be directly fulfilled.
And there's no argument for someone to say this is not the condition I expected because it's already graded and sealed in a product. So essentially by eBay verifying this on cards over 75, which I think, that's a really good price point. They could have gone cheaper to try to have more control, but that's going to cost them more.
Yeah.
And they know there's going to be more back and forth. But 75 and up on a raw card, $75 raw card, what's the PSA 10 valuation on that?
Anywhere from $300 to $1,000, depending on the desirability of the card. I would pick,
typically it's going to be $300 to $500 if it's a PSA 10.
Yeah.
Right? But their job is just to say, this is actually a, Topps Chrome, blah, blah, blah. Their job is not to say that this is in the condition that I say, correct?
Right.
So if I say mint, and it's verified, but they send a picture of a dinged corner, but it's been verified, is the buyer screwed now?
Well, the problem is this. If you as a seller are fraudulently listing your items, you deserve returns.
I agree with that, but I'm saying what's eBay going to do now? Are they going to stick it to the buyer a little more? Are buyers going to be a little more cautious?
Well, I think that buyers...
They're not great. They're not verifying the condition. They're just verifying that it's a real card. Yeah.
Correct. Well, and here's what I will say. I don't know whether eBay is going to do that or not.
I've bought cards on eBay that were not in the condition that the seller described. And I've bought them from repeat customers. Well, not repeat customers. I buy from them multiple times. And I've had some that were genuine mistakes. And the seller, when I said, hey, take a look at this corner, maybe the front corners look good. You know how that happens.
Yep.
And you flip it over. It could be a white border back, like a Topps NFL card.
Yep.
And you're like, hey, this back corner is looking a little soft. You send a picture, and they're like, oh, is it okay if I send you $20 of the 75 to make up? And yeah. So I'm curious to see how this plays out because there's no way to completely address all this, but I think it's a movement in the right direction.
Oh, for sure. And I think that what you're
with a reputable company.
Right. Well, and what you're describing, so eBay sports card buying like 101. A few things to think about if you are a buyer or a seller on eBay. If you are buying something on eBay and there's one picture of the card,
don't buy it.
And it's somewhat blurry and it has a description that says mint, will grade well, whatever, don't buy that card because it's not going to end well for you. It's not something you need to do. And as a seller, if you've got a card that you're trying to sell and it has a few issues that are reasonably obvious to anybody that's been in this hobby for a while, just disclose it. You're not going to get top dollar for cards that are dinged up or have obvious issues. You're going to get what they're worth. Be realistic about what you have. Now, if you've got something that's super short print, super low numbered, condition isn't as big of a deal because if you have an of 5, there's only 4 more in existence.
So I think one of the big issues they're trying to curb is what I dealt with last year. I bought this massive collection that had a lot of Tom Brady stuff in it. Sold a couple Tom Brady rookies, talked about it last year, but I was at risk if it didn't go Tampa Bay's way. What a lot of sellers ran into was people would buy this card, the team that they were betting on lost, and within a week they're like, "Hey, this isn't the card I thought it was. This isn't the condition I thought it was." And as soon as they complained to eBay, and I think it has more to, well, now eBay's running all their own payments, but at that time it was PayPal was running a lot of that. They were protected. So the person they were betting on lost, and they were guaranteed to be able to send that back just because the team lost and the value didn't go up like they expected to be able to flip it. So I think it will help in those regards. But overall, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I think I am moving away from eBay overall. I'm really discouraged that I've had probably, if you have 750 reviews, I could easily double that number in sales.
Oh, at least. I can tell you that I sell a decent amount on eBay, and about 1 out of every 5 I leave feedback for. I just don't care.
There's never been a negative review, and this is true, which I don't expect anybody else to do this. I've never had a negative review where I didn't refund the buyer.
Well, no, at the end of the day, it's just good business.
I've even have cards that are worth a few $100 where I've even refunded, then they kept the card. If it's really that type of a situation where I felt like they were not getting the experience they needed. So I'm in a spot where I'm somebody that eBay took a good chunk of money from over the last few years. I was in a spot with a job I had before where student loans were aggressive. The income wasn't coming in. I started reselling. eBay was there for me, and it was awesome. But to be able to be hit like that, and it's almost like dealing with your reputation. For me, I'm stepping back for a little bit, and I'm going to work in more like peer-related networks like Facebook and some of these other ones for a while. And just card shows, which, by the way, we're talking about getting into that. So
doing some road shows. Come see us.
Those of you that are local, that are fans in the Central Ohio area, we're going to have some exciting news coming up on some card show activity.
Should be fun.
And isn't the National in Atlantic City?
It is. You're supposed to be working on getting us at least a split booth with
I'm
your
working harder on that than I am the red paper clip.
Well, it's because you've worked nothing on the red paper clip.
That's not true. I can't get anybody to trade me for a Zion, you merciless person.
Well, you probably could at a $40 valuation.
You think?
I will trade you something for a $40 valuation on that card.
Moff Potter.
What?
Moff Potter.
I don't know what that is.
Have you ever watched It's a Wonderful Life?
No, because I don't like old black and white movies, and I don't like Christmas very much.
You're Moff Potter.
Okay.
You can Google it later. All right, we need to move on. That was a lot more attention than we meant to give to eBay. Moving right along to basketball, we got some big news going on. Huge trade with two teams that I don't care that much for, Nets and the Sixers. James Harden is bye-bye. And the Nets get a lot of players.
The Nets not only get a lot of players, the biggest thing the Nets were able to do in this trade,
2 draft picks.
Yes, they were able to recoup most of what they paid for James Harden. And they get Ben Simmons in the deal as well.
Is that good? Is Ben Simmons going to show up and play? Does his attitude suck that bad?
I don't know that his attitude sucks that bad. Here's the thing. Here's what I think about Ben Simmons.
He's been painted as a villain, and I'm not buying it.
Well, I think that Ben Simmons is a guy who much like we were talking about Baker Mayfield, he needs positive affirmation. He needs to be patted on the back for good stuff. And if you're correcting him, it needs to be one of those say two good things for every bad thing you say type person.
Positive sandwich.
Yes, I think that's Ben Simmons.
Is it a negative sandwich if it's two positives with a negative? Because the negative would be the meat.
Maybe, I don't know. But is what makes a sandwich? The bread is what makes a sandwich.
No.
Yeah.
Do you ever go order a wheat sandwich or do you order a ham sandwich?
Yeah, but without the bread, you just got a piece of ham.
Hold on. Name me one sandwich shop that lets you order bread and they're like coming right up.
I can walk into Subway and do that right now.
You can say, I want a wheat sandwich, and they're going to guess what meat goes on it.
I can come in and I can go, I would like an 12-inch Asiago with cheese. And they'll go, what do you want on that? I'll just take that bread.
Well, you can go straight to HE double hockey sticks with that.
But either way.
Hitler gets his pineapple at
Totally
noon.
really. Back to Ben Simmons.
Little Nicky reference.
Back to Ben Simmons.
I wanted to like him, and I don't think he's such a piece of crap like they made him out to be. But what I hate is you are a grown-ass man throwing a fit because you hate being in Philly. Guess what, bro? Philadelphia is a dumpster fire as a city. You knew this when
but
you
he
went
didn't have
there.
a choice. He was drafted.
I know, but you got to finish out your contract. Quit complaining like a baby.
See, there's
shut up and dribble. I'm just kidding.
We
I'm just
disagree
kidding.
on that.
Kidding.
So here's the issue. Sports fans get really annoyed when players take control of their own destiny.
Ask Joel Embiid how he feels about Ben Simmons.
Oh, yeah, he hates Ben Simmons.
But that's what I'm saying. It's not just a yes, they're in charge of their contracts and all that, but when they agree to do something and then they decide, I don't feel like doing it anymore because I don't want to be here.
Well, doesn't that happen for every single one of us when we decide to go to a different job?
Yeah, but you know when you should think about that? When you're signing a freaking contract.
Yeah, but how many times have you gone and accepted a job and then you got there and you were there for a year or two and it wasn't what you thought it was?
Many times. I never signed a contract saying...
Well, only because the jobs that we have don't
pay
require
us
contracts.
millions of dollars for X amount of years.
Right, but the point being that as fans, we already have this internal struggle between the fact that we love to watch these guys play a sport, but it also really bothers us that they make the money they do to play a sport.
Here's what frustrates me. I think he wanted out of the city. There's probably way more going on than I know about.
Yep.
That's what most fans don't understand. And I think that's the sentiment you're hinting at is you have fans that have that shut up and dribble mentality. I don't agree with that. I think you should leverage whatever platform you have for good. And if it's outside of the lines or the boundaries of the sport you're in and you have influence and a voice and media and money, use everything you can to do good. The problem I have is when it is just a lethargic, take my ball and go home attitude. And I feel like that's what happened here in this situation.
But what choice did he have? He said, these are the things I want to see done differently, and the Sixers said no.
Shoot a freaking three-pointer and make it, Simmons.
Well, I'm not saying that he doesn't have holes in his game. That's not the question.
You're right.
But I will say this. He's fourth year in the league. He's a 4-time All-Star. He's one of the best, most versatile defenders in the NFL.
You're right.
He's
NFL. Wow.
Oh, sorry, the NBA.
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah.
Bo Jackson's back.
Yeah. No, NBA. One of the best defenders in the NBA. He is not as bad of an offensive player as people like to make him out to be, but he is never going to be a deep-range three-point shooter that shoots 40 to 45% from outside the arc.
Does he come across to you as a player whose mind is right?
He comes across to me as a player who is not supremely mentally tough.
So do you think that Brooklyn is a program with mature mentors?
I think
because I do not.
I think that he doesn't need to have mature mentors for that team to be successful. Here's what I think is going to happen. Ben Simmons is going to open up the floor for KD. And when Kyrie does play, when they're on the road, he's going to open up driving lanes for Kyrie. I think that he is going to be a guy that they can count on to cover up a lot of their defensive holes. And I think that his stuff within the hobby has tanked drastically. I think that if you want to take a flyer on some Ben Simmons stuff, it's not a terrible move. Now, are you going to 10x it? Absolutely not. But could it double? If the Nets make a little push, absolutely. Look at what Aaron Gordon's stuff did last year.
I completely agree with what you're saying. And every time something like this happens, no matter the sport, there's a trade, there's controversy, people are mad at somebody, the first thing I do is look at what their PSA 10 rookie stuff is going for and how affordable it is, because it is worth the risk. So you buy that card for $150 because it's tanking. Worst case scenario, it goes down to 50.
Yeah.
Like you lose $100. Best case scenario, 2 or 3 or 4 exit.
Yeah.
So I hear what you're saying. I guess the program makes a little bit of sense.
Do you feel the same way about James Harden that you do about Ben Simmons? And if not, why not?
I do not feel the same way, and here's why.
Okay, tell me why.
I am more hopeful of Ben Simmons' longevity and his overall talent.
Well, he's 10 years younger.
Well, no. If they started at the same time.
Okay.
I think Harden is more one-dimensional and less special.
Okay, but this is what I'm asking, right? And here's why. We just talked about Ben Simmons taking his ball and going home. What's worse for your team? Sitting out and then putting an
fake
actual
injuries,
player that wants to be on the court playing hard, or you eating your way to 40 pounds overweight and being lazy every night while your team rolls you out there as a starter?
I would say just like really explain the difference to me.
Well,
I'm not going to play for my team, or I'm going to play poorly overweight for my team.
I would much rather have that person not play because 20% of the people
that feels
I have
more like sabotage.
Yeah.
And so here's a good point. I wasn't going to jump into it. I said something to you earlier. Last night I watched on ESPN the All-Star Game draft, whatever. So LeBron's picking, KD is picking, and there was this hilarious dialogue with the whole crew. It was an inside joke that KD, one, didn't want to be there.
Right.
First.
Yeah.
Secondly,
he's not a guy who cares about this.
Embiid is his captain, which is, or Embiid is like the central figure on his team. And on top of that, LeBron refuses to pick Harden even though he should, just to mess with him, to the point where he's laughing behind his own clipboard about this. So, yeah, sabotage is worse, but I would say both are a case of sabotage. One feels a little more like...
Which one gives your team a better chance to survive the sabotage?
I would rather have a really good shooter overweight than someone that refuses to even
Ben
show
Simmons
up to
is
practice.
Not a really good shooter.
I would rather, but James Harden is. You were comparing these two. I would rather have James Harden overweight doing his travel jump shot that works than to have Ben Simmons not show up to practice.
Really?
Yes. Because Ben Simmons not showing up to practice is affecting that whole unit more than James Harden, who will just be like, well, if he's not open, I'm not even going to kick it out.
Is it, though?
That's my opinion.
Because teams in general tend to go, okay, we're going to play with the guys that are here, and then they just move on.
Yeah, Harden's there.
Well, I understand that. But what I'm saying is that as a coach, do I want to play with 80% of a team or 100% of a team?
It's a dumb question, but yes, I understand what you're getting at.
Okay.
I think what I'm saying is I hope that I get to watch Simmons play for a long time. I don't feel like he's as established as a superstar as you do.
Well, he's not established as a superstar, but there are very few people in the history of the NBA who have made 4 All-Star teams in their first 4 years.
One person in history has said, practice? You want to talk about practice?
Yeah.
And they were able to do that. He is an outlier. I don't think Ben Simmons has proven that he is that much of an outlier yet, but he's carrying himself in that regard. In the same regard, we're learning more and more how players are getting screwed, how they're being treated by organizations, the things that happen behind the scenes. I feel like social media has exposed a lot more of that lately. And so as fans, we're more empathetic to that. Yeah. And I think in that regard, we have common ground. I'm not a big James Harden fan in general.
Nobody
because he's very one-dimensional, but when he is hot, it's really something to watch.
Well, it is, but I'll tell you what, the NBA rule changes have taken away a lot of his advantages. So,
all right, let's move on.
Next trades.
Let's move on. You all have opinions. We want to hear about it on our Facebook group. Don't forget to check that out. Ball Card Show, Facebook group, Facebook page. We're there. We may not look like we're there, but we're there. All right, another big trade. Porzingis to the Wizards.
So this was literally Dallas just going, F it, we're done with this. They did not get market value in return.
How did Luka respond?
He dropped 51 that night.
Like a beast. Hey, guys, Luka's still good.
Luka's a monster.
He was not a starter for the All-Star team, by the way.
Which is insane to me. It's just that is batshit crazy.
Darius Garland got picked before him, I think, because maybe it was right after, but right around the same thing. But Darius Garland LeBron had to pick him. Hometown.
Well, and
he's kind of a freaking beast.
Well, Darius Garland is.
If you're not buying Garland, he's still cheap.
Yeah,
buy him.
He's not going to be cheap for long.
Yeah.
He's a monster. He threw 27 and 8 up the other night on 12 of 15 from the floor.
If you're sitting on a stack of them, this, in the penny stock world, this media attention, it could be a little bit of pump coming off of All-Star Weekend because LeBron's going to distribute to him.
So
he might be the only guy LeBron passes the ball to.
Long story short, if you want my sports card investing strategy in a nutshell, when a player that you believe in long-term gets hot, sell every single one of your lower-end cards of them that you have, every single one of them at more than what they should go for, and then take that money and put it into a big card of theirs.
Slabbed.
Yes.
So, great example of that for those of you that are newer to the hobby. Chronicles is a great product to get tons of rookies that are low-end and sell. It's also a great product where if there's somebody you're interested in buying a lot of rookies, Chronicles, Illusions, what other ones would you bring into that mix? Elite, maybe, but I would go numbered on that. Make sure it's a little more SP.
Yeah.
Some of those products, Don Russ, but you have like this weird hype because of the PSA delays with Mac Jones. Don't buy the hype. Think through it, but there's a lot of opportunities to buy in, and if you're buying cheap, I always recommend a lot. And there's so many incredible Facebook groups for this. But if you put out there, the best thing about buying sports cards right now on Facebook is if you find a group that's large enough, that has a good reputation, you can say, I'm looking to buy X, looking to buy it in lots, and here is the percentage of the current eBay valuation I'm interested in buying it in.
Or even just give a hard price. I've been buying Bowman firsts and refractors and chromes of several different players. I'm not going to get beyond some of the people I've already talked about.
No insider trading.
Don't want to give away my edge. But I will just say I'm paying X for these. I don't need them. I don't need you to pre-grade them for me, but please don't send me your stuff that is 90-10 centered.
Here's what I love about you buying cards, and I'm being serious.
Yeah.
Gary will say, hey, I'm interested in buying this. I've got cash. I'm ready to pay it right now. Cash App's loaded up, and I will pay 70 or 60% of the comps, but I will buy as many as you have at that price that we're interested in.
Yeah.
And he's going to get 20 comments of people trying to start a Facebook fight, and he's going to find one or two people that need cash that are like, yeah, I'll take 60% if I sell 5 of these cards. Absolutely. I'm still up. And he gets it.
Yep. And I mean, it's just like anything else in life. You got to ask a question, and you're going to get shot down a whole lot, but you can't let the shoot downs bother you. You just got to keep going until you find somebody that's willing to sell to you. Same thing when you're selling something. Yep. Set your price. Don't be an idiot about it, but set your price. And if you have a card that's desirable, you will find a buyer for it.
And if you're selling, so when I was on eBay a lot, if it wasn't a card that was super rare or super high end, right? On those ones, I would hold firm. There was no buy it now, whatever, best offer. I would look up, for eBay stuff, I would look up 130point.com because it would show recent eBay sales. And I would set about 5 to 10% less than what the last one was, and I'll be darned if those ones didn't sell way faster than the ones that I priced exactly at comps with the other ones.
Yep.
Pretty simple. Speaking of buys, you have a big hot take, recent trade to the Celtics, Derek White.
Okay.
Talk us through why you're big on this guy.
So Derek White was traded to the Celtics trade deadline day from the Spurs. Derek White's rookie cards are in 2018 products, 2018-19 season products. I don't have a ton of his stuff. I've got a little bit of it because I've always liked him as a player and thought that if he could get considerable minutes, he would show out. The problem is he's played in San Antonio. And if you're a basketball fan, you love to watch the Spurs because the basketball is beautiful. But if you're an investor from a sports card standpoint, it's really hard because everybody on the team scores 14 or 15 points a night in the starting 5. Occasionally you have one guy that just goes off, but even if that happens early in a game, Greg Popovich doesn't care, and that dude might have 20 points in the first quarter and a half, and then he won't score again the rest of the game. That's just the way that team is set up. And they've been that way forever. You look back at when they were winning championships, even when you had Tim Duncan, who I think most people consider a top 10 player of all time, it's not like Tim Duncan was dropping 30 a night. Mm-hmm. That's just not who the Spurs are. Derek White's a guy that this year is averaging 14.5 points, 3 or 4 assists on 18 minutes a night. Mm-hmm. His per 48 numbers are like 27 and 9. Yeah. Now, is he going to get 48 minutes? No, with Boston. But he is going to come in and be a heavy rotational guy, probably getting 28 to 30 minutes a night. Mm-hmm. And it would not shock me if his time with Boston, he averages 20 or so with 5-6 assists coming off of the bench. Yeah. His stuff right now, his rookie auto stuff, is dirt cheap. And when I say looking it up, when I say dirt
graded
cheap,
9s and 10s for $40.
Yeah, his true RPAs from National Treasures are a couple $100. Yeah. Like, you can't buy a bowl true RPA from National Treasures for a couple $100. And he's played 3 minutes a night for 2 years.
Well, that was a fun little ride low.
It was.
Last year
I made so much money on bowl. But
fun.
Derek White's a guy who could go to Boston and you could easily double your money.
Pick him up.
Yeah, you can easily double your money, and you're not going to lose money. He's not going to go to Boston and his stuff go down in value.
A guy like this who doesn't have all the hype in the world, there's not huge numbers to attach to him right now. All the Spurs fans that were collecting him as a PC because he was there.
They'll start dumping.
They're dumping him, so you're going to have opportunities to pick that up. I'm going to kick it over now. Exciting stuff. Live review. I'm going to let Gary set up his camera on his phone. And he's going to start ripping FCG slabs. Is this your first sub?
It is. It's my first sub. Now, there it is, guys. I want video, not a photo. I started taking a photo. There it is, guys. There's the Smith Creek. If you want to go buy something that'll just make you vomit, you can go get you a jar of that. So, here we go. FCG. So, full disclosure, I do know the owner of FCG, not like super well, but we've known each other for a minute through some Facebook groups. And this was my first sub. I paid full freight for this sub. This is not a paid promo type thing at all. This was me wanting to try out their services after hearing really, really good things. So let me walk you guys through the process of how this went. I sent my cards in on the 28th. Okay, they were received on the 28th. They shipped back, and I got them today. So less than 2 weeks for me to get these things back in my hands. I got to looking at FCG as an option because there are certain cards that I want back fast. Mostly baseball related stuff, but, and SGC has been my go-to for a while, but SGC is running about 2.5 months, which is reasonable. And they're not behind, but that's just kind of where they're running unless you want to pay the bigger dollars. And then I started looking into FCG, and they're super transparent. If you want to learn a lot more about them and how they grade cards, they do something that I've never seen another grading company do. If you go to their YouTube channel, they literally will walk you through their grading process. They will show you exactly what they're doing and looking for. And the best part about it is they have subgrades on everything. And any subgrade that is less than a 9 or 9 or less than a 9.5, because 9.5 is their gym. Any subgrade that's less than a 9.5, you get a note, their grading sheet from the grader. And they tell you.
You need a knife or
something? Give me that pen. I'll just use a pen. They tell you why. They tell you exactly why it got the grade that it got. So we're going to rip this thing open. Now, I did send some bigger cards in. So FCG has really developed a niche. Screw this. Let's peel it. FCG has developed a niche with Bowman baseball and some higher-end Bowman. So I sent in some nice Bowman stuff, some stuff that raw value is $600-700 because I wanted to see how they graded stuff. So this is the box everything came in. It shows you when they received it, when it was due, when it was billed, when the label was created.
Feels like Christmas morning right now.
How many did you send? This was a 12-card shipment.
And what do they cost? Did you already go over that?
I did not. They're $29 a card for non-bulk. It gets down to like $20 a card if you're sending in 100 or more.
What do you got in here?
They got some swag in here. Got some FCG decals. Pretty neat stuff. Got a little base plate to display my FCG cards. That's really cool.
Let me see that.
That's really cool. Huh. They're very well packaged. And here we go, guys. You watch me rip it. I've not opened any of these.
You're listening to him rip it. So you're going to have to be descriptive.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. And you guys can go watch the video too. So, and you can chime in here because I'm not super good at being descriptive as we go. So there's the first 4 cards. There's 3 stacks in here. So we'll start here. We got an Anthony Volpe Mojo True Gem 9.5. True Gem 9.5. Got a 9 on centering, 9.5 corners, 9.5 edges, and a 10 on surface.
So let's talk about the slabs for a second.
Yep.
Immediate reaction. A little bit similar to the Beckett, but you also have the black SGC on the actual
just the label. Yep.
But then you have frosted, kind of like a frosted look. They're not super. Well, I guess it is rounded corners.
Yeah, the slab is almost identical in size, width, and height to a PSA slab.
Yeah.
It's a little bit thicker. Here's another Anthony Volpe Mojo. You guys have heard me talk about Volpe. I'm huge on this kid. Almost identical scores. 9.5 edges, 9.5 corners, 10 surface, 9 centering. These 2020 Bowman centering was tough. Very tough.
Yeah. I agree.
We got a Jamar Chase Rookie Revolution insert from this year's Donruss. These are actually pretty rare inserts, shockingly enough. I opened a lot of this product. I think I pulled 2 of these of anybody. So we got a Jamar Chase. It's a 9.5. 9 on edges, 10 on surface, 9.5 everywhere else. And hopefully I've got my sheet in here. If not.
So Jamar Chase, for a long time, which the whole game is changing on this, but for a long time there was a huge emphasis on quarterbacks, receivers, running backs was kind of a little more running back heavy, honestly, which is ironic because the wide receivers have way longer careers.
Correct.
But Jamar Chase is special. The only other person I would put in that category right now, which people will debate this, but in the same category is Scary Terry.
If he had decent quarterback play, he'd be a monster.
Hey, Terry, Cincinnati's interested, baby.
I love this Volpe Mojo card. I think this is me being optimistic, but in general, I'm super high on this kid. Everything about him, I just think is going to be fantastic, and I think it's a great looking card. The photo of him swinging and finishing his swing, I think it's going to become a very iconic card. This one is a 9. It got 2 9 subgrades, and they're on the 2 things that FCG values more than anything else: centering and corners. They call those the big C's, the 2 C's. If you have a 9 on those 2 things, there's a decent chance you're going to have a 9 everywhere else, no matter what the grade is. But this is another Volpe, really nice one. I thought the centering was a little bit better on this one than they did. I guess top to bottom, it's off a little bit. So that was the first 4. Nothing crazy big there, but those Volpes raw are $60 to $70 a piece. That Jamar Chase is probably $30 raw.
Yeah, Volpes are typically going for that, but I would say that you still have people who don't really pay attention to what they have with Bowman stuff. So if you find yourself in a sale on Facebook groups where they have Bowman first in there, you can actually still find Volpes for a lot less than that if you are paying attention.
If you find somebody that doesn't know what they've got. Okay, so next 2021 draft. This is a Jordan Lawler refractor. Got 9 on corners, 9 on surface. 9 on edges. Refractors are tough. It's a 9. Nice looking card. Another kid that's pretty high. That's probably a card I'll sell pretty quick though.
I do like how they have the black label with the gold font.
Yeah, really and it's a metallic.
Yeah,
and it photographs really. Here's a Volpe, just a base chrome. That's a 9. 3 9s and a 9.5. So that makes sense that it's a 9. And this is one that I was really, really hopeful that it would get a 10. I'm surprised that it didn't.
Ooh.
This is a Josh Allen Panini Classics refractor redback. It's numbered to, I believe, 175. Yeah. And it got a 9.5. It had 2 10 subgrades, a 10 centering, 10 edges. It had a 9.5 on corners and surface. I looked this thing over like a champ, and I don't know why it didn't 10, but I'm not going to complain about a True Gem Plus.
It's a piece of crap, and you should trade me for this John Daly rookie I have right here.
And here are our last four. I guess this was an 11 card sub. I thought it was 12. No, that's 5. There's 5 cards here. It was a 12 card sub. This is where you're going to see a couple of these big boys, bigger cards that I sent in that I was very pleased. Start off with a Bowman Chrome Mega Box Maximo Acosta Mojo Auto. Got a 10 on the auto, a True Gem Plus, 10 on centering, 9.5 everywhere else. Really pretty card. It's not his first, but it is from his first year. Really nice card and on a prospect that I have a lot of high hope for.
Just a reminder to you, if you're listening in, you're like, wow, I'd love to see this, or
yeah.
I wish I could see what's
Go to
going
our
on.
Facebook page. It'll be posted tonight.
Facebook page, Facebook group.
Here is a Trent DeVoe first
This
auto.
Acosta is really pretty.
It's a nice card. Yeah. Trent DeVoe to 250. This one I knew was not going to gem because I knew there were a couple of surface issues. The surface issues must have been worse than I thought because it had a 9.5, 9.5, 9.5, 8.5.
Ooch.
8.5 on surface. I knew there was a print line, but I didn't think it was that terrible. It kind of runs through the helmet.
Guess what? It's that terrible.
It is. But still a nice card, a numbered card. Got a Colton Cowser base auto. This is a card that raw is about a $100 card, $120 card. I'm going to guess in this condition, slabbed is probably $300. It is a weird gem, 2 9.5s, a 10, and then a 9 on surface, but a 10 on the auto. And again, this is one I'm not sure what I missed on the surface on. This next card is the big boy. This is about a $700 raw card, $600 to $700.
I'm so jealous of you hitting this. You hit this in a break I was in with you.
Yeah, I did. It's a J. Allen True Blue, and this is a True Gem Plus. 3 9.5s and a 10.
Oof.
And I thought it might 10 out. Again, they look at these things under a microscope. So, but that is just a beautiful card, a beautiful auto, 10 on the auto. I think that a minimum, this is a $900 to $1,000 card as it sits. Just a beautiful, beautiful card. And last but not least, another Jamar Chase. It's a 9. Edges I kind of knew. Corners I thought were cleaner than they were. It did get a 10 on centering, which is tough on these Donruss cards. But this is the purple optic preview Jamar Chase. Really pretty card. So there it is. That is the FCG reveal for the night. I'm going to turn this around so you guys can see me. That was the FCG reveal for tonight. And, yeah, hopefully it was enjoyable. And check those guys out. We're going to have Matt on the podcast soon. I've talked to him about it. It's just a matter of getting our schedules coordinated so that we can make that happen. But I would really, really recommend checking them out. It's a nice slab, and they are super transparent. Their customer service is spectacular.
Yeah. I'm really impressed with what I'm seeing with the slabs. One thing I would say to those of you that aren't messing with grading because maybe you've been collecting for a while, or those of you that are intimidated by it, I found that the process of pre-grading and deciding if something is worth a grade is actually a really fun part of the hobby. I am not wired to be somebody that is like really attentive to tiny details like that, but it's been fun to go through the process and realize, because it kind of helps eliminate a little bit of surprise. You know what you're sending off. You're not wasting money, but you can get a centering tool. You get a magnifying glass with a light. You can walk yourself through a lot of this, and it really opens up a whole nother aspect to it because, tremendous job what you sent off. Like, yeah. Just so you know, the average person does not send off several cards and get 9 O's and above.
You got to know what you're looking for.
And you're more meticulous than me. I've had several times where I sent something off and it comes back an 8, and I'm like, what? Yeah. That's just because I spent 30 seconds and not 3 minutes on it.
Right. Well, right? And one of the other things that's great about a company like FCG, and it's why I think they're probably going to stick around for the long haul. I don't know that they're ever going to compete with PSA to like take over the market, and I don't even think that's what they're trying to accomplish.
The fact that they're cutting into that high-end Bowman stuff, I really like the niche market.
That's exactly right. They have graded a lot of high-end Bowman stuff. I'm not talking about like base refractors. I'm talking about super fractors. I'm talking about true red of 5s. I'm talking about sapphire papadicias. Like they've graded a lot of stuff. This little stand that they sent me is sweet. I got it backwards. Let me turn it around the right way. That is a sweet, sweet little stand that they sent with this package. So, anyhow, check them out. They are super cool, super responsive. Every time I've sent an email, they have responded within 10 minutes. Great feedback. I had one. I got my grades. I got the grades before I got the cards. Nope, I'm not doing it again. He's trying to slide this stupid butter cake at me. I'm out.
One more.
Nope.
For the people.
No, for the people.
There's somebody out there that listened to you opening grades.
And they were
for
excited
20
about
minutes. One little sip of butter cake.
Nope, I'm out. Hard pass.
One little sip.
Hard pass.
If you don't do this, the Bengals will lose.
No, I'm not playing that game with you.
Do you want that bad juju?
I'm not playing that game with you.
I don't make the
The
game.
fact that you even put that out
It's
into
in the universe. It's in the universe.
I hate you. I hate you so much. Fill dead air while I drink this.
Shot.
Yeah. Ugh.
I'm watching. He's taking a sip. He's already gagging before touching his lips.
Oh my God. You're not gonna do one.
No,
you're the worst.
I'll do one.
Yeah, do one.
Twist my arm.
Horrible. Anyhow, guys, that has been the Ball Card Show, episode 3 of season 2. As always, thanks for hanging out with us. We appreciate you. Go check out the Facebook group. Check out that video of this reveal if you want to see some info on FCG. Check out their page. Check out their website. What else you got?
I got nothing.
Got nothing.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Thanks for listening. Thanks for making us. You know what I love? When we miss a week and people hit us up and say, where was it?
Yeah.
And I said, it was us missing it.
Yeah, it was us missing it.
Go Bengals.
But we're here for you.
Who they?
Who they think gonna beat them Bengals? Who they? Who they? Who they think gonna beat them Bengals?
Who they? Who they? Who they think gonna beat them Bengals? I go too far, one too many times.
Yeah, you did. I was trying to signal you to like start the outro music as that was
happening. Have you ever heard the Miami Dolphins song?
I don't want to.
Oh, it's so bad.
Yeah, don't sing it for me.
Yeah. Well. Bye.
Come be a Bengals fan.